My college career was over. I got offered a job to become a hospital administrator. 2-year program, $75,000 job. And right before I took the job, my daddy called me on the phone. Let me tell you about my daddy. When I was a little boy, my daddy would always pick me up. When he came home from work, he'd pick me up. When he saw me in the nursery after church, he'd pick me up. No matter how long he worked, no matter how tired he was, my daddy would always pick me up. So when I had my kids, I would always pick up my kids. When I got home, sometimes I was tired. They have a bottle in one hand, and they just lifted up the other hand, and they knew what daddy was supposed to do. My job was to pick them up. Let me help you out, AdvoCare. This is a spiritual interaction. When you pick up a child, it is a spiritual transaction. When you pick up a child, you change their perspective. When you pick up a child, all of a sudden they can see the world the way you see it. I don't care what your children have done, there is nothing they can do for you to stop picking them up. Well, my daughter's a drug addict, I don't care, pick her up. My son messes up, I don't care, pick him up. Well, my daughter's had 4 kids by 5 different men. We'll do the math later. I don't care. You pick them up. That is your job, mama. That is your job, daddy. That is your job, grandma. That is your job, granddad. Your number one job is to pick them up and change their perspective. My saddest day, one day, my daddy looked at me and says, boy, you too big. I can't pick you up anymore. But when he couldn't pick me up physically, he would pick me up emotionally. He would pick me up spiritually. I had a great dad because he would always pick me up. He would always change my perspective. So my daddy called me on the phone, he asked me a question. He said, son, you had a tough year, what's next? I said, Dad, I'm gonna be a hospital administrator. He said, not bad, but let me ask you a question, son. Do you believe you're an NBA player? Huh? Do you believe you can play in the NBA, son? Before I knew it, my bottom lip started to twitch. And I said, Dad, I got a question for you. Is mom home? My daddy asked that question one more time. He said, son, do you believe that you're an NBA player? You can't outproduce your self-image, son. If you don't think so, go take the job. But if you believe you're an NBA player, go for it. My dad had the self-control and discipline and waited for my answer. And my answer was yes. You're right, Dad. I can't work the rest of my life. But playing in the NBA is a dream I've had ever since I was a little boy. He said, go for it, son. I limped back into my coach's office with a cast on my foot. Tears in my eyes. I said, Coach, what do I need to do to play in the NBA? I asked that question 4 years in a row. With tears in his eyes, he said, son, when I recruited you, I heard you was a mama's boy. But I'm here to tell you, you just like your daddy. I said, Coach, what do I need to do to play in the NBA? He said, do 2 things you can play in the NBA. Lose 20 pounds and shoot a 3-point shot with range, you can play in the NBA. I think you should be a motivational speaker, son, but if you lose 20 pounds and shoot a 3-point shot with range, you can play in the NBA. I lost 20 pounds, and every day I would shoot 500 shots a day, every single day. I got invited to training camp with the Dallas Mavericks, and not only did I make the team, I became the first ever undrafted rookie free agent in the history of the Dallas Mavericks to start opening night.
If you don't go through failure, if you don't go through hard work, if you don't go through sacrifice, if you don't go through your faith being tested, if you don't go through loyalty issues, if you don't go through fights, you don't really love something if you can't bounce back from it. So all these words are attached to the word love to me. So if I say I love you, that means I I have been through the ringer with you, and I'm willing to love you even still. That's the real love, man. And that's what it really means. There is no other way. Don't throw that word around. Hey, love you, man. Do you? Would you really have my back? Do you really have my back? I don't know, man. Have we been through enough? That's why there's so many divorces in this country. That's why people don't want to go through adversity together. They're not willing to fight to make it right. They just give up because you don't really love it. Message is, I think you have a template. I think you have a strength plan. I think you got a warm-up, you got your base, you got all this stuff you plan out for the week. But if you don't give a message to your team every day, you're wasting your time, okay? Your deposits into these kids matter more than wins ever will. You're not gonna wake up every day and feel great. You're not gonna wanna go to work all the time. You get tired, you get sore, and probably one of the two is always the case. You're either sore or tired. I think it's important. That's the most highest level of opportunity you have to create confidence. Yes, I was sore. Yes, I couldn't get up out of bed, but I ran a mile in sprints. To me, that makes me a better coach. That helps me get through to the kids better when I'm trying to explain fight through pain. Because if I don't, I'm a hypocrite.
On the outside, people don't look broken. You don't see bruises, and you don't see scratches, and you don't see scrapes, and people don't walk around in a big cast, and so you can't tell with the naked eye. The problem is that there's a malfunction on the inside. And so often the decline looks a lot like my phone, that the first thing that stops happening is that people stop receiving the good things that are coming their way. They can't interpret the blessings of God. They can't receive compliments. They can't receive joy from friends. The second part is that so often those that are depressed, you've been there before, it's like you try to cry out for help, but every time you try to speak up, you can't make a connection. So many times, depression, what it feels like is this, that I'm so afraid to share what's going on the inside because I'm afraid it might destroy you. So what I do is I bury it on the inside of myself only to destroy myself. It's okay to not be okay. It's just not okay to stay that way. We've got to fight back tonight. We've got to remove the stigma. We got to get healthy. Tonight, I got one mission, and I'm being serious, but I got one mission, and my one mission is to try to push people tonight that are struggling alone, to push you into community, that you would speak up and you would let somebody know, I'm not okay. Or the one thing I know about emotions is that they change. 1 hour from right now, you will not feel the same way. And I want to encourage you tonight that you might be in your darkest moment. You might be going through hell and high water, but I want to prophesy over your life. It is always too soon to quit. You have a reason to live. God declares your best days are in front of you. We love you. Life is short. It's too short to live depressed. It's too short to live anxious. And it's too short to struggle every day with thinking about taking your life. I want to challenge you tonight to get up.